right.
Okay. So the other question I had was around where we found out that we had deployed Ubuntu and we were trying to run um Amazon Linux what's that um AMI that we had the wrong AMI basically, right? And
Mm,
then we kind of were running the wrong command in the wrong operating system, so to speak. Um
yes.
I did notice that I didn't have to delete my instance that I deployed using CloudFormation. What I did was I went and I made the change to the AMI, gave it the right AMI, and I did an update in CloudFormation.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So most infrastructure as code tools
Hmm.
are um there's this word idempotent. Yeah. So
Hmm.
he uses there's also what we call just give me a minute. Immutable and immutable infrastructure. So when you
Hmm.
change your AMI from the cloud uh, formation, what it would
Hmm.
do is it would terminate that old instance and immediately
Correct.
spin up another new instance without
Yes.
you even knowing, using the new AMI because that
Yes.
change was there. Mm.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that would work
Yes.
perfectly.
Yes. Yes. As part of the process when I was looking at and I was monitoring the progress, what it was doing,
Yeah, yes, on the
I
yes.
did see that it terminated
Yes, it will terminate and
the
then
old one and then
immediately it will create
created a
another
new one.
new instance. So they are
Yeah.
called mutable infrastructure. That's what infrastructure as code does for you. You don't
Okay.
have to worry about having to manually do anything. All of that heavy lifting will be taken away from you. You
Okay.
enjoy Terraform even much better, yeah,
Yeah.
because you have that flexibility to deploy across different um, cloud providers, and not just cloud providers alone. You can use it to do all sorts. Mm.
Yeah. Do you mind if I share my screen real quick, just so I can just show
Oh, okay.
the issue I was having with the list users? So let me share my screen. Screen one, share. Please let me know when you see it.
Yeah, it's up. I see.
It's up. You see it now, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So what I was doing was after following the CloudFormation, just like the actual script itself,
Mhm.
I was trying to connect from here. I was trying to do like AWS IAM list users,
Yes,
but
okay.
I was unable to connect because obviously from what you said was
Um,
because I wasn't connected. I have to
have you
SSH first.
configured the AWS CLI?
Yes, I have configured the AWS CLI. So I also
Yeah, using
installed
a lot
this
of
plugin.
plugin, yeah, AWS plugin. Okay,
Yes.
I hope it's from AWS directly though.
No, so if you go to the plugin and just to AWS, I think that was the last one I installed. AWS Toolkit, yes, this is
Toolkit.
from
Okay,
AWS. You can
okay,
see
yes.
it.
All right, makes sense.
It's actually verified.
That's
So
verified. Okay. All right.
um I that was what I installed to
Mm.
connect. But after connecting, I connected to the instance. It still wasn't giving me what I wanted, but
Connecting
I
to the
was able to
instance
adjust.
is another process, and then
Hmm.
running using the AWS CLI is another process entirely. Also, with
Okay.
the connecting to your instance, all you need is your SSH key to make
Okay.
that connection.
Did they make
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, for the
Okay.
CLI, you need to have configured your
Okay.
access key and secret access key.
Okay. So, but in this case, when you were connecting, when you were trying to connect to the when you were trying to run command against the EC2 instance,
Mhm.
I don't remember. So you
Against
cannot
the
run
EC2 instance, no, against run
against
command.
AWS. Okay, it's
Yes,
run against
yes,
AWS,
called
not
AWS.
the instance. Ah, okay.
Yes.
So it wasn't dependent on what we were deploying. It was
No,
just
no, no,
this.
no. So we are
Okay,
interacting with AWS directly to we're telling AWS, help me deploy all of these things that I have inside of
okay,
this templates now. So that's what
okay,
we do with the AWS command line.
okay, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
All right.
You added
Thank
tag
you.
to your own. You added tag to your own tag.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. I added tag so that it's gonna give me the
You can have
VIP.
template files going up to thousands. 1,000 line
Yes,
of
I
code.
understand
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, what happened was when it was done creating, it kind of created a name for me, right? So I can actually come here and just make the change here, and then if I want to change the name of the instance, I can just come here, make that change, and update it.
Yeah,
And then
that's
for the EIP as well, I just use
yeah,
this function
value
here to
join. Where
yes.
did you get this function from? ChatGPT, Abi?
Yes. Yes.
ChatGPT will give you things that you've not come across before.
Yes. I mean, and I needed it because when I went into
Mm.
the Elastic IPs, I was like, what is this? Where did this come from? How did I create this? So giving it a name, I knew that, okay, this is,
Mm.
CloudFormation EIP. I was like, okay, this is
It's
from
coming
CloudFormation.
from
So when I deleted it, I knew exactly what I was deleting.
what is deleting.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So
Hmm.
that's the essence of tagging. It will help you
Correct.
kind of group and put like a name to your different resources. Mm.
Hmm.
All right, cool.
Hello,
I
Moyo.
hope the
Hello,
rest of you
Moyo.
guys have been practicing as much as Henry has
Yeah,
practiced.
yeah, Moyo. I think I dropped a message for you on the Discord, but I don't think I got
With
response.
when I know I still checked this code. So today has been very hectic.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to the cloud formation. I don't know. I don't know where I'm missing something wrong, but
You can share your
for
screen. Henry will guide you. Henry has done cloud formation
yeah,
over
I actually I saw I'm looking at what Henry did. I think I'm going to trace him to his house so that he
here.
will.
But if you don't mind, you
That'd be
can share your
nice.
screen now so we can just
Yeah,
update
sure.
you.
I'm doing that right away.
All right. All right, so welcome everybody. For those that are just joining, we have started before you. Please pardon us. We realized that we didn't do much on Sunday, so we want to use today. Today is supposed to be the last day of cloud computing, but we still have quite a big number of things that I want us to touch on. And again, I want you guys to be unblocked as much as possible. So this might extend till tomorrow. And I know, again, this is to plead with us. Lady Anne reached out to me and told me that some may not be, she won't be sharing the video in the link for tomorrow's class with some people. In fact, she said today, but I had to plead with her that no, today is still cloud computing. So but for tomorrow, I don't know. She is of the opinion that she would, it's only those that have made their payments that will be getting the link for tomorrow's session. And like I said, I still want us to take cloud computing till tomorrow, and then we'll start up with infrastructure as code upper weekend. Yeah, so then I just said I should put this out there. All right, listen, I see your screen.
Before
Okay.
you go for that, I know exactly what your problem is, right?
Thank you, doctor.
Okay.
Is it a doctor?
Oh, is it?
All right. Take your mouse, your cursor to the sub, right? That's sub online 12.
Okay.
Go to the squiggly line, the red squiggly line, and over your mouse over. Take your mouse and just over it, and yeah, click on view problem. All right. So that's what I was trying to get. I was trying to get that unresolved tag because I experienced the exact same thing. It's something you have to do to the JSON file in
To the YAML file.
So
no to the JSON.
white space is can cause you plenty problem when you're writing YAML.
Okay.
Yeah. So just give me one moment. So we have to update your settings.json file to fix that particular thing. Yes, settings.json. I'm gonna share the. Let me share the link with you guys.
Can you
so you see
close
what I'm.
this just close up this yes.
If I post it here. So that's the resolution to the problem.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So that unresolved thing. So you have to locate the settings.json file, and let me go and see how to get that. So if you click on your search icon right there at the top, click on search and type settings. No, not where are you clicking? So you see where it says
Top,
search
top.
at the top of your
Top.
That configuration there.
where it says search. You can
At the
do a
top of
search.
at the top of your VS Code.
Yeah, top of your VS Code.
Okay, VS Code, sorry.
Yeah, yes, where it says search. Go in there and type
Learn.yaml on top of
okay.
learn.yaml.
yes, then do type settings. Maybe settings is not. Let me see. Settings JSON file. Yes, good.
So
Give
I
me one
think
moment. I mean, Moyo might not know what we are experiencing as far as that, because you probably your VS Code has been configured well enough to you don't need. Okay, so type open settings there. Go type open, open space settings.
I'm trying to go through that.
If you are trying to go to settings, why not just go to settings directly?
Well,
and from settings you can search for JSON.
Well, that's not what the instruction says, unfortunately. It might work that way, but that wasn't the way I went about it, and I don't want to
Okay. Can we
deviate
try
too
that
much.
way?
Yeah, you can try that way. You can try that way. You can go to settings directly and
that's manage settings.
yeah, and then you're looking for open user settings, then JSON in bracket.
Let me see.
Open user settings. It's not there. Let me search in mine and see what mine looks like. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, type F1. I mean, remove the entire user right there. Just hit F1. Yeah, hit F1.
Okay. Nothing.
On your keyboard.
Yeah, nothing. No action.
Yeah, F1 will work.
Okay.
F1 will work. I
F1,
can see it on my end.
Yeah, if you just hit F1, it's gonna bring that thing up. It's gonna bring the option then you're looking for. So click within where your code is and type and hit F1 on your keyboard.
This is what is bringing out this screen extension.
That is not what you should expect to see. Sorry, who said they were able to see something? Let me share my screen real quick so you can. Okay. Let me share my screen real quick so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right. So if I share my screen, can you see my screen?
Coming up.
Okay. Okay, you can see it now, right?
So are you hitting F1?
Well, I just hit F1 right now. So if you hit F1, it's gonna bring this up here. Then you can just type open user settings, and then you'll see JSON right there. You can see it says recently used.
Oh,
right?
why is not coming up? I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, you know what you do? Go to, I think you can open your command palette. So who's sharing the screen? Henry.
I'm the one sharing right now.
Okay, so when you go to settings at the bottom of the VS Code, to the bottom left, and then click on command palette. No, not even settings now. See command palette at the very first option, the very first option there. Then you can now search for settings.json. That should work.
Let me try that also here.
Let's try your own first now.
So you see that you have
okay. Let me exactly. Let me stop sharing so you do that. Yeah.
Okay. I think that works. Stop sharing. Let me go ahead
Okay.
and share my screen. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
But that should not even break the code because.
Well, it's not like he broke the code. There's something that so the reason is because you don't have that the YAML custom tags property. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
This
This looks
your
very. This looks.
like everything.
Could it
You
be?
don't have it. You don't even have anything in the settings you're chasing.
You don't have any. You don't have anything. You don't have anything there. That is weird.
That's very strange indeed. So it
Yeah.
should be
Okay.
application support user. Can you close this and let's open that palette again and let's see which of the options you chose. This is looking strange.
Yeah,
View
palette.
Yeah.
command
Command
palette.
palette.
So even beside it, if I try to even open terminal,
Uh-huh.
you see it doesn't. It just flash.
There's something
There's
wrong
something
with
wrong
this
with your
VS Code.
installation. Yeah.
Yes.
Something is not right with your installation. But if
you have this file saved, yeah?
Yeah, I have this
maybe
file on my
restart
notepad, yeah.
VS Code, restart VS Code, and then we open this particular file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm,
Let me just close and restart.
yes.
Yeah.
Close it all together and then open a fresh instance of it. Well, were you able to work on plenty of things over the week?
Were you talking to me?
Yes.
I've not yet caught up with the class too. I've not yet caught up with the class, but I did some things. Where I am is I'm trying to set up S3 buckets with static websites and
That's
custom
like
domain.
3 weeks ago.
So yeah, the thing is, I just purchased a domain recently to
Okay.
practice that part. So I had to skip the ending of that class.
Mm.
I was going on with other things. So as soon as I purchased the domain, I watched the video over again to ensure that everything is still fresh. Then that's where I am currently though. But I'm engaging in some other things. So my attention is a bit divided. So that's why the progress has been a bit slow.
Mm. All right, no problem.
if you can just put this thing there and see what happens. Just put it in.
This
Because
is
yeah, we're trying to get rid of the sub yeah. So if you just copy that and just put it in that file and save it.
the YAML
Let's see what happens.
tags. In between the two tags, yeah, but this is
Yeah, if it takes everything out, there's already a
okay,
open
yes,
and
okay,
closing
bracket there. But
yeah, you have to remove what was there before. Okay.
Yeah.
Take the red one at the very bottom, remove that one too. Yeah, save this file and then look at that and look at your YAML.
It's not copied well. It's not copied well. The indentation is wrong.
No. It looks okay.
Yes. In the location.
Where's the closing bracket? See,
Yeah.
you should just.
This is it.
It looks good. If it wasn't correct, you will see it.
This is
Okay. What I mean is not properly aligned. So it's okay. It's correct.
Right.
Now go to your YAML, your learn.yaml that you were looking at before. Okay, see it's gone.
Wow.
The
You see when I say thank you, doctor?
real doctor.
Okay, let me save this and try running again.
Yeah, and try running it. Yeah. That thing is very indentation sensitive. If you miss one indentation, the CloudFormation would push you back.
Reject it.
Yeah, it will.
It's when you have issues like this, you research on it. I never had issues like this.
As in, this is a learning. I don't think I've ever had any reason to. Okay, I may have probably come to me.
Thank you, Henry. I think I got through that stage now, so I'll deal with others later. But before I let you go, also, so I don't know if this I still cannot. Is there a way you can assist terminal? Let me see. Oh, I guess. Yeah. Oh, it went off.
It's going off. So at your installation of VS Code is breaking.
It's kind of wonky, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be VS Code. You can use Sublime. right? I've seen where people use Sublime to do their as their text editor,
Yes, there are options to. This is just one ID.
One of the yes.
Yeah, I think for the purpose of this,
to follow along with
on the same page. So possibly after this, I can begin to learn others. But for now,
I see that you have a JSON extension there. So maybe you've installed an extension that is, I don't know, breaking things, causing your VS Code to.
Well, I don't think he installed it because I have it on mine too, and I don't remember installing. Maybe I did. I don't know. But yeah. If you go to CloudFormation and try to see if this file is going to work, just to make sure you don't get that error anymore. It'll be interesting to see.
Sorry. Yeah, I think I've been able to say, but I'll progress later while we deal with others. While we continue with it.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you, Ari. Thank you.
So, but is there any advice on this? Any possible recommendation? Although it's just breaking comes.
Yeah, actually, it's not even coming up again.
Yeah, what I'll recommend is you save this file and then uninstall VS Code, restart your computer, reinstall it, and see what happens again.
No, something as simple as even restarting your PC.
Computer can fix it, yeah, correct.
Solve all of this. So Windows, when you have updates to install, it actually starts affecting some of your applications. Yeah, well, that's what I think. Though I've left Windows in a very long time because of all this while. Well, yeah, just restart a few things. If it persists, just uninstall the VS Code and reinstall it again.
Okay, I'll do that. Not maybe later, not now.
All right, cool. All right. Who else was able to practice over the week? Our first lady, Jimmy. I hope you've caught up now. All right. Maybe you stop sharing lessons so I can take over and all right. Welcome once again, everyone, to this session. I know we have started already, so but it's still customary to still welcome us. And like Henry rightly pointed out, we didn't really do much on that Sunday. And so we'll be jumping into the project today, which so over the week, I have been dealing with a database issue. And in fact, a forum I was on where I have senior engineers in there, all of them complaining that about databases, having to manage databases. I was even going to skip this particular project because it's kind of very similar to what we worked on. Not very, very similar though. Yeah, but it will be introducing us to connecting to our database and then using it, actually not using it per se, but some things that you probably have to do as a DevOps engineer. And I don't know, I can't remember who asked the question about the entry level DevOps role, and I know my answer was that as a DevOps engineer, whatever level you are in, you are expected to know quite a number of things and to be able to mostly solve problems. And then problems will come, from different domains, and you should be able to okay, yes, I have an idea about this, if not, completely, but yeah, I should be able to, fix it. Yeah, so we'll be running a project that would require that, we actually, um, yeah, connect to a database, maybe not run queries now. So, yeah, you would need to get comfortable around managing databases, just like, you will be managing code, from development side, your whatever application you're deploying. I know I said this, there's no application now running that does not have some form of, that is not connected to some form of, database. Data is being persisted. Data now is like the new gold, they say. And so every organization is looking to, harvest some form of data from whatever application that, they are using. Yeah, so we'll be running that today, and if time permits, also we'll do a few other things, or we'll round off tomorrow. Yeah, so yeah, again, um, improvements, and I was so glad, when Eri was, the way he jumped on the cloud formation, he has shown that yes. And I know every one of us, the fact that we are here, it means that, we have given ourselves to improving, and then, but we need to prepare, keep working on scaling up all of the things, that's little things like, what we just did now, where it was setting the JSON file now that fixed the issue. It comes from, country. I don't know how long it took, Henry to have, gotten that fix. Yeah, but it has, that is something that whenever it comes up again, when let's say share the screen, immediately say, I experienced this. And that's how you keep building on, the experience, and you would, all these little things you call them, might be your, seven-figure, earning, just that little thing that you're able to fix, that you've done. Maybe you just did while you were practicing, trying to, run a few things. And I keep saying that you need to keep, you have to get your hands dirty. If you watch the videos and you think, okay, yeah, if I follow these things, it would run easy. I didn't experience that issue when I ran mine, So it's when you do it, you would experience things, and then you're able to recover from that, and then it will build, yeah, it will give you that advantage. So keep improving, guys. So our agenda for today, I already said, our top project will be deploying a highly available dynamic web application, which would require that we, you know, um, restore a database, and then, would learn a few other concepts that we may have touched or talked about, and then we'll be building on it. Yes, I see your hands raised, Jimmy. I was calling you earlier, but maybe you were frying plantain.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can speak. I can hear you. But I can't hear you anymore, though.
Yeah. My network is so bad down here. Can you still hear me right now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. The other time I was answering, but I think my network was so bad that you couldn't hear me, and then it took me off. Okay, so my question is this. For someone like us that is very new, I want to know, because I understand that DevOps is very wide, and I understand that we have different sections. Hey, Jesus. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Jeez.
Go ahead.
Let me go in and come back.
Okay.
All
right. Well, I'll wait for you. After Ford, you can go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to help us differentiate. I don't know whether somebody else knows as well. Dynamic website and static website. What is different?
Static is mostly informational. You just go there to read up stuff. We are not for dynamic. There's some form of interactivity. You can, as a user now, um, interact aside just, reading stuff off of it, reading information about whatever it is that is being posted there. Dynamic ones, again, has some form of customization. As a user, you can have a custom view, and then it can be personalized basically. It gives you that flexibility, the ability to um, take it to your own use case now. So say you are an e-commerce website now. Usually it's not static, it's dynamic in a way, because you can do quite a number of things. You can interact with, shopping cart. You can, probably log in, have a dashboard of your own. So that's little interactivity that, you can do with it, makes it dynamic. And then data is being persisted somewhat,
Can you, sorry, if you are saying an e-commerce website is a dynamic website, so can you say an app like what's this called? Like Instagram, like all those ones, are they static or dynamic too?
So once it goes beyond just
Viewing.
viewing, just reading, if you can interact with it, you can Instagram, you have your own profile, you have
You know,
uh,
Like our Gmail account.
web-based.
Gmail account. Is dynamic, right?
That's so if you are looking at all of the different applications now, you can't group them all under dynamic or static. There are
Okay.
a broad category of applications now. Yeah. So that dynamic in there can mean so many things. As long, again, the basic is that you can interact with it, and then you can send something and it will respond, with it will give you a response, custom kind of response, which is not for static websites. You rarely even interact with it. All you go there is to, read up, or uh, there are blogs now that are dynamic. Those are not static again. You can create accounts, and you can subscribe to receiving newsletters and all of those things. That gives it that flexibility. It adds more functionality to it. So that's gone beyond just reading. There are organizations that have just websites, informational websites, that you don't go there to do any other thing than just to probably get information about the organization. So those are static websites. There are no backend logic that's okay. I can log in now, or I can create an account, or I can have a profile in there. So that's all of those. Once you start having features now that need to connect to, say, some logic, and then send response back to a particular user to have a custom view, that's gone beyond static.
Thank you very much. My thought as well, but I will just be very sure.
Mm.
It's okay.
But the static website can do a little bit more than just viewing information. You
Yes,
can submit
JavaScript.
information
Yes.
using
Basically like a blog.
yes, something like that, exactly. So you can actually you can use a static website to collect information, but it's just not going to be responsive. It's not going to be based on, there's not going to be any kind of interactivity with it.
Yeah. So I think the goal is to be able to deploy all sorts of, you would be fortunate and privileged to deploy different kinds of applications, microservice application, even yeah, I have deployed to the different app stores, Google and iOS App Store. The first time I did it, I was like, is this supposed to be, it's not part of my job description now. Developers should do it. I had to install Xcode, install Android Studio, and, it was fun, yeah, but it's not something I think I want to do all the time. Yeah, so you'd do all sorts, especially and like, I don't know if Jimmy is back, said DevOps is practiced in different ways, across different organizations. Some organizations will give you that flexibility, that free hand to, do as you seem fit, and some would give you very restricted. You just be streamlined to doing just some um, particular things, so it's all in all, it's actually an interesting place. Yeah. Yeah. So the web application that we'll be deploying, again, I think the goal of this is, we'll see when we start doing it, is introduce us to um, a few other the database side of it, and we'll be using Elasticache also, even though we would not probably see the full functionality of how the Redis cache actually, helps reduce latency in the querying. The application needs to, you need to have tons of people, querying it. But some of these tools are things that you would be asked to use, or you would even suggest if probably you are working with developers that are not experienced, and then um, the infrastructure is experiencing some downtime, some lagging, responses, queries are not being because you have knowledge of these services, you're able to recommend, okay, yes, guy, why are we not using some form of, caching system in front of our database, so that we are able to reduce latency and all of those things. Yeah. And yeah, and some other things that we've talked about in this particular project. I think there are a few other things also that we'll need, that we'll be using, when we get to the infrastructure as code part. So we'll run this, and also we'll be talking about a few platform as a service, other, managed services also. That's again makes kind of like automate our deployments. So I stumbled upon Amazon Amplify, I think the year it was introduced, and I've not gone back. Who changed you? I've not gone back using it. It has been a very, very good um, you know service in terms of for front end applications now. Yeah, deployed quite a number of front end for a particular organization, about 15 front end applications there, and what they pay um, monthly for those 15 different front end applications. Now, talking to with different backends, yeah, for Amplify, yeah, is both very want to say powerful, yeah. Makes life easy for you. It helps you with your whole CI/CD. All you need to do is point it to your source code and then just go to sleep. Once it's a React, but it's limited in the framework that you can use anyways. I think, yeah. So for React, front end, Amplify is a very, very wonderful tool, and very, very cheap. I keep saying it cheap. That 15 will pay less than $5 or so. Each time I see the bill, I'll be like, is it that AWS, they're not charging this organization for this amount of, instances? And each of the instances now, yeah, they have both the production, staging, and dev, environments. We'll get to when we get to that service, you'd see how you can actually manage different environments right from inside that service. And then there's I put the two of them together in that Amplify, you have limited um, is a platform as a service, and all you are concerned about is your source code. You don't have to worry about the underlying infrastructure. But AWS Elastic Beanstalk now takes this up a notch in that it gives you that automation, but now gives you access to all of the infrastructure that it creates for you. Yeah, we Amplify, you can't connect to, whatever instance that your application is running on, but with Elastic Beanstalk, you can. Yeah, so we'll talk about those two services hopefully tomorrow, because this will probably take some time, and then we'll talk about AWS Lambda. We just run a very small simulation to see one of the many functionalities of, AWS Lambda as, coming from the serverless standpoint. So these are the things we hope to cover today, tomorrow, and then we'll round off with cloud computing. Yeah, so we're going to jump into deploying this application. It's going to be all hands on today. You guys should please, again, you can call me back if I'm moving too fast, if you don't understand what we're doing. I have the infrastructure, the architecture already is, again, very, very similar to what we've done. I like that we already talked about that architecture in depth. Yeah, so I think this is the architecture. See that is quite similar. It's literally exactly still building on our three-tier, foundation that we have, our VPC and our availability zones, and three subnets in each of the availability zones, one public and two private. Yeah, the only change in this now is that we have a Redis cache in front of our master DB, which would sit as a to help manage latency, querying coming in from our web servers here. So this is what we are looking to achieve. Yeah. And then I still have my VPC
Sorry,
up
sir.
and running. Just that, yes.
I wanted to ask you, sir, the difference between the Reddish and the Memcached.
So I think is the data type that's the database now that you are running. Yes. The kind of database that you're using that will determine
The Reddish or Memcached.
whether you use Redis or you're going to use Memcached. So Redis, if you have structured relational databases, I think that works very, very good with it. For Redis, for Memcached, I've not actually used, been privileged to deploy, an application that uses Memcache. I don't know, developers I've been working with, they prefer Redis. Even those that actually use document-based databases, they still prefer Redis for some reason. Yeah, so yeah, I don't I've not hooked it up properly, but Redis
I actually
is
saw an architecture that I saw an architecture that has that
Memcache
Memcached in front of the RDS. Yeah, so I want to find out. Okay.
front of the RDS, yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
Just like the way you have there now. Put place of that Reddish, they put Memcached there.
Mm. It would be something I would probably need to look up
Yes.
to get exactly the difference between them. But I think Redis is more on top of my head there. Okay. Let me see what I'm not very familiar with. All right. When we get to that bridge, yeah, of course. Yeah. So Yeah, I was going to, didn't want to. Um, all right, so yeah, this does almost everything that you can do with Memcache D. Yeah, the key value pair and all of those. All right, so this is our current architecture, and then we are all familiar with this. But from the last time I had to delete, there's no NAT gateway that would route um, traffic from the private subnet. So I'm just going to quickly add those. Creating two NAT gateways now. Going to quickly do this. So in public subnets, easy one right now. I'm going to allocate this. And these are my public subnet is right. When I come to my route tables, my private table is the one. When I come to routes, I see that I have a black hole. Yeah, from this. So I'm just going to edit this route, and because this NAT gateway does not exist again, so it's not routing anything to anywhere. So I'll have my NAT gateway Z1. And then for the private route table is E2. Am I doing routes, edit route, the gateway is E2. And I come back to my VPC now, and yeah, my networking is good to go. And just to confirm that I have all of my security groups also very, very important. And to have my ALB security group, my SSA security group, my web server and database security group. I'm just going to filter this by, yeah, I have my database and yep. Yes, so I have all of this, check. I'm just going to open up a new tab, duplicate this tab. I'll be creating my database. So I want to start from, again, the database side. So we'll be creating my RDS. So we are deploying the Laravel application actually. So and Laravel is PHP, so it uses MySQL. Again, it's still the most popular open source database, and the application uses a version of an engine version of 5.7. Yeah. So all of this, choosing the dependencies now, both from the application side and then, from infrastructure side now, the developers would, you'll be working, like I said, closely with the developers. Yeah, so you don't want to use or just provision infrastructure that's the application that they've built is not going to work on. This, again, we are still learning this now from the manual parts. When you guys start, going to, Docker, that's kind of like abstract way having, worry about using the right engine, using the right versions of some dependencies now. Yeah, because I think it was just this week also I an application, the backend application that I deployed, I on the version control, I enabled GitHub actually has this feature that helps you check for vulnerabilities and then deprecated or outdated dependencies inside of your source code, like a code scanning feature. Yeah, so reported some, in this particular application it was deployed. Yeah, we've been using it for quite some time now. Yeah, but it just reported that, quite a number of the dependencies have been, outdated. So I informed the developer and he only changed quite a number of dependencies there. So he was going to start upgrading all of them. I just told him, guy, take them one after the other, because I know if you just go ahead and say, okay, yes, there are newer version of say Prisma now or Node or NPM now, then you want to, just use the latest version. Some maybe functions or helper script now that has been used inside of the code base, maybe those most usually, the maintainers of those dependencies, they've seen better ways of doing, using or calling those helpers, and then everything you've done, your thousands of lines of code with different multiple files, everything will just start crashing. So actually updated Prisma and the whole of the application was unusable. Yeah, Prisma is supposed to be like the CRM ORM now that communicates with the database. The database was unable to connect, the application rather was unable to connect to the database. And even when we figured out, updated Prisma on the instance, so many things were just not working. Yeah, so I had to revert back to the outdated and then told GitHub just turned off that vulnerability scanner. So just calm down. When we're ready to face all of this, yeah, we'll face it. This was on dev, obviously. We had not gone to production or staging, just tried it on dev, but the number of issues that came up, it was not able to, take any other task. So I'm saying this because of this particular application. Now, if I go ahead and try to create an MySQL engine of 8.0, by the time I deploy the application, I don't know how the application, I have the source code, and things might just not work as they should. So I'll be deploying with MySQL 5.7. Yeah, that's the version of MySQL that I know that's, and because I have a dump down that will be restoring. Yeah, so I'll be choosing for dev, free tier, whatever, in a single DB instance. I'm just going to call this urban DB. I hope you'll allow me use this hyphen. I'm just going to use admin. I like using admin, so to use my will put my own password. Valid. Your business. So bustable class, 83 micro is fine. Just going to choose 20 gig for this. Not connecting to an instance just yet. I'll come back to do this. Make sure I put in the right VPC. Database subnet. We created this from the last session, so I'm still going to use this. I'm not going to make this publicly accessible. You never want to make your database publicly accessible anyways. Existing security group, yes, I'm going to be choosing my let's see. Okay, yes, my database security group. Sorry. Let's do this in the A and B I'm using now. It was B and C, A and C. All right, the rest of the configurations, I think they're fine. Make sure to name my give my database a name. So I'm just going to call this application DB for lack of the name. And automated backups. All of this would look to don't want to encrypt, but it's always a good thing to encrypt though. Yeah. Okay, this is fine. Okay, sorry. Enable extended support, extended pay for free. I think I'm not it's being charged for this if you are running on a major version. Okay. They are saying money, you want to charge more money for using an older version, but the money did not change. Again, developers, you would need to impress on them. They need to use newer versions of dependencies and not use older version. Moving from legacy code, I know can be a headache for developers because it means they have to, start optimizing their query, all of their their code base, going over every function and method one after the other to be sure that say there's a whole lot, and then software development is ever changing, with the way things are moving now. Generative AI is making things really, really tough for developers. Yeah, but it can't take away their job, but it's just making the speed at which you have to reinvent and update things very, very fast. Yeah, so after creating this suggested add-ons for this, AWS again is asking that you create an elastic cache, Redis cluster to again help you make faster read performances by, caching, frequently accessed queries. It suggests it will to save your database. I've managed applications that don't are not using Redis, and then every time you see a spike in the CPU of the RDS for those applications, and that's because and when you have tons of people trying to pull from, spool, things, pull, read and write, the underlying infrastructure will be, and then they do, you see, most users probably do a set of, uh, uh, um, you know, um, access the same set of functionalities over and over again. So with Redis, this would help your infrastructure. Yeah, for our use case, probably would not see the use case, even if all of us try to eat it now, the application. So I will set up. So doing it from there, do not. So let me just duplicate this and then come to the Elastic Cache service itself. Elastic Cache. Okay. Let me go back to my database. So I have mem caches, cache D. Where this is what I want. I'm going to design my own cache. I'm just going to choose easy create and dev and just call it ban cache.
So where does Elastic Cache come into the architecture? How does it fit into the architecture?
Okay, it's is sitting in front of your database again to kind of cache frequently queries
requested
now.
data. Okay.
Not even data now, queries that are being run frequently. So the result of those queries will be stored in, it's a database actually. Redis is, a database, so it saves those queries. So instead of when the user, the web server makes a request now to the database, well, goes through Redis, there's a
Priority storage, basically.
cache it now, it would, response very, very fast. It's quite fast, the amount of time that even RDS or whatever engine you're using here would use in um, querying the database and responding. Redis would have done that and then send the response back to the web server, almost
Okay.
immediately. Yeah.
What's the
It doesn't.
storage
It
limit?
doesn't.
Yes.
What's
Go
the
ahead, Kobe.
storage limit?
Storage limit. So
Yeah.
it's elastic.
Elastic.
It's
Yeah.
elastic.
The
Elastic
elastic
cache.
is there for a reason.
Yes.
So it can, but it will all depend on the instance, the infrastructure housing is actually so what I do is for uh, um, dev environments, I actually just run um, Redis locally. You can install it. It's like an application, just like I said, just like your database, you can install your database on top of your EC2 yourself. All you need to do is yum install or apt install database, whatever database you're using now. Also, your Redis is also an application that can be installed. Yes, but again, what Elastic Cache does for you is it gives you that, takes all of that infrastructure provisioning away from you, even though you still need to select what kind of infrastructure you want it to run on. And then you can choose to run a cluster of Redis now, so that if you know that your application is going to be taking a lot of hits now, responses, requests to be coming, read and write request a lot, you probably want to put that inside of the cluster so that you have multiple Redis instances, persists data, help you cache all of those data. Yeah. So in terms what you I don't know, maybe you have another meaning to the question. That's the yeah, but it's elastic, it scales, the managed service, and you can choose, you
Well,
can
the
configure
reason
that as well.
the reason why I asked is from my understanding of cache, it allows you to to get access to data at a faster rate, even where than a direct connection to a database, to an actual database. Maybe if you are using
Mm.
this AWS database. So now the reason why I asked was if is giving you faster access to data, uh, uh, that will mean that it's basically like at the forefront, like um, are directly in front of the actual database. So is the cache tool also interacting with the database, like to get,
Yes.
or
So
okay,
so when a new request comes now, yeah, from the web server,
okay,
it comes through, it checks the Redis,
and
cache that
it's
you have.
and when it
If
sees it's not there,
if
you
it's
go to
if
you
it's
go into the database.
if it
Yeah,
has cached,
re-
if it has saved the
response.
response to that particular query, it will send it back.
Okay,
But if not, it will forward that request to
okay,
the database, and the database
okay,
will respond with the response, and then it saves that, and then it sends it back.
So when next that request is
Particular
made
query
again,
comes in, it
it
doesn't
will
have to
be
go all the way
answered by the
to the
Redis
database.
instead of.
That's a cache. I call it a cache hit. Yeah. So once it's a cache hit, it sends it back. But if there's a cache miss, it will go redirect that request to the database and then.
So I want to ask a question.
Yes, go ahead, Maxwell.
Sorry, the application was this one deployed, is it secured?
I didn't get that.
This application I want to deploy, is it secure? I can't see SSL certificates in front.
We'll be managing SSL from our application load balancer.
CloudFront.
Okay, so CloudFront, you can add CloudFront to this. Yeah.
Yes, I'm
But
yes.
we're using application load balancer to kind of taking request and then forward it to web servers. Yeah, CloudFront.
In front of this referee 3, what's to be somewhere so that when you secure the application.
Yes, you can go ahead and actually add that. But in terms of, say, security, I think this is, well, safe enough. We have, our
Something
servers.
about the front end, the site itself to secure it.
It's sitting, so it's a Ravel is a monolithic framework. You have your front end and your back end, well, it can be separated, but for this particular one, they're all inside one code base. Yeah, so is secured inside of our private subnets, and then we still have security groups around those that keeps that. Would obviously need to configure SSL, with
Okay, them saying so you're doing some, yeah.
But I challenge you to try to add CloudFront to the Route 53, create a distribution and point it to the domain name that you have. After you finish setting up this, you can now create a distribution.
Yeah.
That would improve or reduce latency, in terms of if the application now has, some assets now, videos, images now, you can cache that from the CloudFront. And what Redis is doing is queries that's, the database queries. Yeah, so it makes sense actually. Yeah, that you can actually add the CloudFront. Again, will make your application even run faster.
Question, please. Don't Redis have to be highly available because you have it in just one of the subnets. You don't have it in both.
I mean, I'm trying to say I can I can create a clash of a cluster of 3 Redis, but from experience now, yeah, your Redis I don't know what kind of application. Yeah, I've handled applications that tons of people are using, and I have just one Redis cluster manage even for multiple applications now. Can have uh, multiple data applications. So I have this setup now. I can have another web application here and another database, and this same Redis would cater for the 2 databases. It's a very, very fast.
That was the question I was about to ask you. That can't we use the one exact Redis to cater for several databases?
Yes, you can. You can. In fact,
that one's
use it.
more efficient to be able to.
Yes, but there are times so can be very, very tricky. Developers would maybe an error occurs now. They will tell you they want to get visibility into the Redis to see what is going on. And because you are using one Redis to serve multiple, you would have it's going to be coming through a lot of key value pairs. So there are both pros and cons to it. But usually very, very rare occasions where you'd need to even go into it, because it's like your RAM now. Your RAM the way it interacts with your CPU. It's really really fast. So it's an in-memory database. That's what they call it. So it can serve multiple databases.
Okay.
Henry, you wanted to ask? See that you're unmuted earlier.
Oh no. I was just kind of like looking at the architecture. I know you said
Oh, okay.
you can create it
Oh,
multiple, but I guess what I was thinking is, so what you have right now, is this according to best practice? Because I think it'd be very important for us to
yeah. So
see
so it's
what
a
the best
single
practice
point.
is.
It's a single point of failure. But if your Redis fails, um,
Hmm.
say so if this ability zone goes down, um, I have the standby database, even though I'm not deploying it now, which still houses all of my data is safe. The Redis is
Yeah.
is a helper sort of.
It's
So
just
if
to make
it
things
can it
run a
can
little
go
bit more
down. If
efficient.
it goes down, you can always create a new one. It's not like it's persistent data. No, it's not persistent data. It's not keeping it's not yes, it's not holding your data. So anything it's holding actually resides inside of your database. So it's your database you actually want to, be more concerned about is volatile. Yeah. So
Okay,
if
so I think I've gotten a little bit more confused there. When you say it's not holding data,
it's
I'm thinking
holding data, but it's data
okay.
that can be
Like temporary
dispersed.
storage.
Yes, it's just temporary.
The
Yeah.
temporary storage, temporary
Mm,
storage.
Okay, so when that availability zone goes down and
mm,
everything fails over to, let me say
to the standby one.
right now you're using AZ2, and then
Mm,
something happens with AZ2 and everything falls over fails over
one.
to AZ1.
Yeah.
Um that means that for a short period of time, until when you're able to get another Redis instance stood up
Your
in
application will
AZ1.
work fine. It's just that
It will
Yeah,
be
the
working.
yeah.
latency
What
It
I'm
will be
would
slow.
yeah, exactly that's what I'm saying. So pending
yes,
when you
to
stand up
spin up
another
new
Redis, you spin
ready.
up another AZ1 in AZ1, things are
There'll be
going to be a
some
little bit
lag.
slower,
There'll be some lag, in
right? And
responses.
even when you spin up one, it's still going to be
Yes,
it's still going
because
to take a while,
you
because it still
need
has
to
to take those new
test.
queries and store
Yes,
them.
yes,
Okay, all right,
yes.
okay,
So this is
okay,
not best practice. I, I
okay.
I agree with that. It's not best practice.
Yeah,
So
because from a training perspective, I mean, it's always nice that regardless of the cost, we know what the best
yeah,
practice is when we are
why?
making recommendation,
Yes.
and then we can say this, and
Um,
then we can say we
um,
can actually always also have it like this, but this is the implication of having
This
it this way.
is, yeah, okay. Yes. All right. So I was going to
Jimmy,
say you can create a cluster of caches and you put them in multiple availability zones, subnets rather. Yeah. Yeah. But let me
yes, hello, Moyo. Jimmy just dropped a message on WhatsApp now that our network is terrible. So she's not able to come back.
back on.
Like she's trying to come back to the class, but at the moment
If I
it's not
tell if
functioning.
I tell you that I'm using a VPN to be able to connect with AWS, all of my ISPs, I don't know what AWS has done to them. Um, so I'm actually using a VPN. I can imagine. You guys that in the abroad, you don't know what we are going through, having to connect to uh, connection issues. Yeah, I understand fully well. Mm.
Hmm.
Should see the video. Hopefully, our network will be good tomorrow, so she can have a
She
question.
was
Okay.
loading up. She was loading up with a question before, like she was about to
Mm,
unload a question to you. But I think I know what she's trying to say, because she mentioned it in the group chat that
oh,
she really wishes that that we can, that after the cloud that we can just take like a pause before we jump
move
into
to new.
another module of the boot camp. So I think that's
uh,
what she's about to ask.
yes, it makes sense. Well, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just going to create this real quick because we won't even see the effect of this that we're creating. So I'm going to again, you can put this in any of your subnets, private app subnet AZ1, private app subnet AZ2, and best practice. Yeah, so you don't have a single point of, you don't have your users suffer your money management, cost optimization. Yeah, so but I'm going to put this in just the private data subnet AD2 actually is where I want to put this. Private data subnet sitting in front of my, so private data subnet is the so my database, I want to be sure I put in just this story. So I would just put this in the private data
So
subnet.
Elasticache is our Redis in this case, right?
Yes, yes. So Elasticache is the service, and is made up of, it works with Redis and their protocol based kind of, yeah. Uh, I think.
DevOps engineer they work.
Hmm.
I thought what I was thinking about
And it's not
when I was thinking about DevOps engineering was just I think it was just restricted to CI/CD, really.
No,
Yeah.
no.
so it's not fair. It's not fair on any engineer to work with a Nigerian company as a DevOps engineer, to be
Oh
honest,
yeah.
because this you will work and
And die.
work will be an understatement. Seriously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean in an established organization, I mean, if as a DevOps engineer, you might not even need to touch all the resources. Like maybe yours can just be to focus on Kubernetes, or something. Some can be they want to just set up the CI/CD pipeline. You know, those, like, you're not doing everything. You're not doing everything. But in a Nigerian company, you might be tempted to even start writing the front end code or the back end code.
Don't even get me started.
I know, I know,
Yeah.
I know. You know the job
If you
market in
know how
this
to
in
do
this
it,
wretched country.
you would do everything. Or you would
Mhm.
manage,
Yeah.
you manage, you even manage Jira.
Yeah.
Eh?
Look at that.
And
I
you
remember
have
when
scrum masters, you have product
yeah.
managers, and they still come to you and are like, please grant me access to Jira. Like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I remember there was a Microsoft application I used to when I was back in Nigeria then there's a Microsoft application I used to work with. Very big. Microsoft was investing very heavily in that product at the time. And it was supposed to be something that I was supposed to be an administrator, right? But I ended up doing development work, doing DBA work,
You will do
doing like
everything.
it was just crazy. And then when we get a project where we're working with Microsoft side by side, you will see these guys come from Microsoft. They will tell you all they touch is databases and they don't
Yes.
touch anything else. And you'll be wondering
Yes.
like,
Very, very structured.
why is my boss telling me to be doing all these things? And me and this guy have the same role, the same title, and he's telling me he can't touch this. What do you mean you can't touch it? Oga, come
I
and do this
have
work.
colleagues that are senior
You
DevOps
know,
engineers, and when they tell me what they do on a day to day, I'll be like,
yeah,
we're suffering.
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Very,
Believe me,
with
you're very
and
correct.
very,
with
very
and with
streamlined.
stupid
And
and with very stupid P. That's the
yeah,
most annoying thing.
it helps
Mm,
you. And so, when you're specialized, you know all about
mhm.
that particular,
Yeah,
line.
absolutely,
Not
absolutely,
Yes.
when you're trying to do
absolutely.
everything. As you are creating GitHub actions workflow, you are doing Jenkins, you are doing uh,
Hmm.
Zen.
Hmm.
You just be
I
doing.
There are some.
But the
It's fun
benefit
though.
of it though, is if you want to pivot into something else, right?
Yes.
I've interviewed for a DBA administrator, I mean for a database administrator role. I remember
Mm.
back then in 2014, at Access Bank. I never was a DBA, but I worked with DB,
Because you
I
have
worked with DB so much that I don't know what
uh,
you want to tell me about Microsoft SQL Server.
as you have not done. Yes.
You
Yes.
understand?
So
I mean, so,
So I
but
think that's
at the end of
again,
the day,
when you say you're a DevOps engineer, you should have at least so all of those guys that actually are, find themselves in organizations that is more structured. Yeah, you would see that they have probably touched on a few things, and then when you get the opportunity to stay in one lane, yeah, can now even at that self you will not rest because that's
even on
whenever
one
I
lane,
feel
you
now,
know
I have
how
a
many
tendency.
things you need to learn, even while you're on one lane.
There's still so
knowledge
much.
knowledge does not end though. You don't stop
Still so
learning.
much. Still so much, yeah. So moving on, as part of this, so our code base now will be pulling it from an S3 bucket. I know when we deployed the um, static website, we uploaded our files to S3, and then we made the S3 enabled websites functionality for S3. But for this now, there are tons of ways, that your code base can be handed over to you. Again, eventually it would be sitting inside of a repository. Yeah, but for this use case now, we'll be pulling from an S3 bucket, and then this is so that you can also be introduced to some what we call instance profile now. So all of these AWS services, I don't know if you've noticed, before they can communicate with themselves, you need to explicitly, kind of grant permission, either using different, options that you have now. You can either use security groups, you can use rules, um, you know, policies and all of those things you attach to the different services so that they can, talk to each other. So I'll be creating an S3 bucket now. I'm just
Sorry
going
again. Why did you say we need an S3 bucket? Because I don't see one in the architecture that we're working with.
Okay, I did not add that to it truly. So our code, our code base will be uploading it to an S3 bucket now, and then the EC2 instance will be pulling it from the S3 bucket. It's just going to be okay. Yes, you
Like
can
it's like a
actually.
one-time. It's gonna be like a one-time thing, right?
Yeah, yes, for this particular application, it's going to be a one-time thing, but you can configure. I don't want us to go into CI/CD just yet because we are still going to learn better ways of doing continuous, deployments. Yeah. So for now, we are still very, very manual. We are just assuming that our developers, just zip their code base and then upload it to S3, or they hand it over to you and then you upload it to an S3 bucket. Yeah, so I'm just going to call this web files. Okay, let's call this web files. So I want to do, not touching anything in here. Just need a bucket real quick. Okay,
so you're going to create a role that communicate with S3 and EC2.
Yes, I'll create a role. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm going to upload see a file now. Should be loading this. No, so while this is uploading, I will means hands are up again. Or has it been up before? I'm going to come to IAM. Okay. And I'm going to create an IAM role. I don't think we ever used IAM role for anything, did we? No. So I'm going to create a role. I'm going to create a role for an AWS service. So recently, don't let me bore you guys with this. So you can actually, the organizations that have multiple AWS accounts now, they use, so I've seen architectures now where for each environment, so they have AWS accounts for dev environments for all of their development, workload, infrastructure, and all of that. There's an AWS account for all of their um, staging environments and all of the environments that they have like that. And as the DevOps guy, you must have access to all of those environments. So roles are kind of how you manage access to all of those accounts. You can create um, a single sign-on kind of roles that would link, all of the accounts together. So these are more advanced things, but ours is we'll be creating an AWS service entity type. Then our use case is going to be EC2, and yeah, all sorts of EC2 options that you have. I'm just going to grant S3. So we always talk about least privilege permission. So when you want to add permissions to, yeah, especially for services or even people, users now, you always want to give them just the right amount of permission that they need, uh, for whatever it is that they want to do. Please give me a minute, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, so for this particular option now, so read-only access is fine because, yeah, the EC2 instance is only going to be pulling in from the S3 buckets. Doesn't need, any other. Sorry, can I take 1 more minute and just. Yeah, so S3 read only access will be fine because I'm just pulling in, depending on what that role is doing. Yeah, so read only is fine. I'm just going to call this S3 read role. This is trust policy. You want to read only is fine. Right, so I have that role created. Right, so next I will be setting up an EC2, just like we did in the other first projects. I'll be setting up creating a setup server now that we'll use to install, import the SQL data, and all of those things that we need to do. We have a KPI, so I'm going to launch an instance real quick. I'm sure some of us can do this closing their eyes. So I'm just going to call it setup server because that's what it is.
Sorry, sir, Moy.
Yeah, Master Alfred, go ahead.
I mean, S3 now is playing the role of EFS in the previous project, right? The role of EFS, where we load the.
For now, yes, yes, it's going to eventually be our EFS. I had a key pair in this place. I should have a key pair in there. Yeah. We'll be changing that very soon. I want this to be in my public subnet easy1, no matter one or two. Existing security group. I just want why are these things not displaying fully? I need my ELB security group. Okay, I need just SSH and web server security group. Web server security group is necessary. Delete this. Come to my advanced option and be sure to select my S3 read role. So this is it's called an instance profile. So what this does is it would grant, just like you can run your AWS CLI command from your local machine now, using your secret key and your access key. So what this role does is it grants temporary access to your EC2 instance. It creates a temporary, if we inspect, you see when it needs to pull from the S3 to give it a secret key, a secret access key to create that, underneath it, and then as a final thing, a token now, that gets generated again underneath the hood. That's what that role does, grants temporary permission to the EC2 instance to pull from the EC2 instance, basically. So launching this. All right, so for the DBAs amongst us, this next part is so the part I mentioned. We have been introducing us to a database management DB. What I say? DBMS, yeah. So we'll be using this to connect to our instance. For those that are interested, you can, Google, download MySQL Workbench. Is cross-platform, so you can use it depending, across all operating system, whatever operating system you're using. So it will detect the operating system that you're using, so you can, download the latest one. And there's Windows, Mac, and Linux, and what have you. So there are different, just like we have different IDEs. Yeah, we have different database management, software system now. Yeah. But my SQL Workbench is specific to MySQL. There is, so depending on the database you are working with, there is pgadmin. If you are working with Postgres database, there's pgadmin. I have quite a number of them. I have I have dbeaver. There's one that this developer just introduced me to. So dbeaver, that is kind of more generic. So pgadmin is for Postgres databases. If management tool for PostgreSQL. dbeaver is my favorite now. Again, that's because you can actually use any database engine on it. Is like a general, and it's open source also, so and very easy to manage. But for our use case, we'll be using MySQL Workbench. So we want to connect to our database right now. I think I need your, so our database should be done. So I will be okay. So few things. I'm going to click on this plus button here. I'm just going to call this mobile. So because our database is sitting in the public subnet and is not publicly accessible, I cannot connect using just standard TCP IP. I would need some form of authentication, and I can use TCP IP over SSH. This would, in a way, I can kind of use an anchor, a bastion host, if you want to put it now, to connect to the database. But while we were setting it up, I don't think we didn't connect any compute resource now that we can use as an anchor. Right now we have our web server sitting in here our setup server is sitting in here now, and we can use that again because they are in the same VPC and subnet now. We can use that to connect to our database, but we still need to, create that link, make the two of them see each other, just like, we created a role for the EC2 instance to be able to pull from the S3 bucket, even though we've not done that yet though. But now I want to allow the EC2 to be able to use that again to connect to our database. So I would be setting up EC2 instance. It's just going to create a security group. That's basically what to do to create a security group. So see, to tell you, it's telling you I'm creating a security group, and I'll import 3306 in here. Yeah, so we have a database security group already, and it's going to create this security group here, and also a security group in the EC2 instance that would allow the two of them to communicate with each other. Yeah, so this will take a minute. Okay, connection successful. And so I can now come back to my DBMS. I need for my MySQL host, this is where I put the endpoint for the database. I have that, oops, that is not connected. Chat. Okay, X. All right, Malumi. So I need the endpoint for this. We add in that endpoint a username. I think I use my name. I always like to use my name. For the SSH part, I'm going to be using the IP address. We'll be using this. All right, so this is done setting up. So we'll take this. Username is EC2 user, is the default user, and I'll be using an SSH key file. It's basically like connecting using your SSH clients. Where is July bit count? Oh God, I beg. Show you. July 24. So we have our PIM file here. And password, password is what we want here. I'm going to test this connection to be sure. Could not connect. Okay, authenticity. All things being equal, I should get a successful made the SQL connection. Yeah, cool. So I can click OK now, and if I double click on this, I should be connected to the database. Yeah, connect to. All right, so the application DB, I don't know if you guys noticed when we were provisioning the RDS, we had the application DB. Right now, our database is empty. There are no tables or nothing inside of it. So what we want to do now is, usually your developers would, there are two ways they do this. Is either they give you a script now that you run, or they have what they call seed runners now. They would have kind of added those queries now to their code base that would pre-populate the database with the needed maybe some creates queries, creates, and then create the columns and the tables, all of the tables and all of those schemas now that needs to be created. Yeah, so and then they give you a script that would trigger those runners. They call them runners now. Yeah, but depending on the framework you're using. But for our use case, we have a script now that we would be kind of importing and then to use to pre-populate our database with data. So I will come to administration here, and then I'm going to do a data import or a restore view. I'll be importing from a self-contained file. I have that file on my local machine. So I will be sharing all of these files with you guys. Where should I have you in here somewhere? Yes, is a .sql file.
These sessions always just leave me more and more confused.
But you've done this over and over again now. What part is
No.
confusing you?
No, so I can't tell you for sure. Just like kind of alluding to one of the things Pelumi said a while back. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago. You know there's a question, but you don't know where the question is coming from. You know you have a lot of questions in your head, and you just don't know like where at what point should I be asking. So I think one of my problems is when you started, I was trying to follow along with you, but the security groups, I know that there was a way that you created them, and the way you linked the resources to those security groups. For instance, when you created the ALB, the ALB security group was used to control access to, I think, the web servers,
Yes.
right? Something like that. So I didn't exactly do it like that. So I didn't want to start, I didn't want to compound the issue by,
So the same
just
security groups we used for the
for the RDS session.
The WordPress one is
Yes,
the same one
WordPress one,
we're
yes.
using here. Not didn't add anything to it.
Yeah,
And then
I did not complete that session, unfortunately.
understanding that actually, would do a lot of good.
Okay.
So the load balancer security group, depending on the port now. So when you think of security groups, think of ports. What port am I allowing for this
Allowing on, okay.
security group? Yeah, so for the load balance, I'm expecting traffic. Let's go back to infrastructure. So for the load balance, I'm expecting traffic from, the internet from anybody.
Internet gateway,
So
yeah.
I know port 80, my application is, it's a web application, so it's running on TCP port 80 and port 443. Those are HTTP and HTTPS. Yeah, so for the inbound rule, for the ALB, I should have ports 80 and 443 running in there. And the source is going to be from, the internet,
The IG.
wildcard, source 0.0.0.0. Yeah. Then for the SSH security group, I think that is just your web server you probably want to SSH into, and then maybe your setup server now. So whatever resource now, web server now that you attach that SSH security group to. So if you see your security group as a firewall around, whatever resource now or whether service. Let me stop saying resource, service now. Yeah, because we can have multiple services. Our RDS, we can have a security group, a firewall around it, just basically stating what connection can both come in and go out of that particular service. That's basically what your security group does. And so we can have our SSH security group, and that's because we want to be able to SSH into our web servers now, whether it's the one sitting in the public or the private. I don't know why we want to do anything with the private, but mostly for setup server. And then we have our web server security group. Our web server security group basically is going to be allowing, again, our application is running on ports 80 and 443, but now the source of that traffic can only come from our application load balancer.
Okay.
So that's then for the database is going to allow traffic only from
the web servers.
From the web server, and then it's running its own ports. Yeah. It has its own ports. I think 3306.
So on what port are we opening on the database server?
That's 3306, depending on the database engine that you're using. MySQL uses 3306. Postgres uses 6432. Even Redis also has its own ports. Every of this service, they have their own ports that they use in communicating. Yeah. So ports are yes. Don't let me go.
Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of understand the whole flow and everything. I think like my intention was to follow along when
But because we've gone
when
to
you
the
show.
database now.
I think
Correct,
yes, yes, sir.
exactly.
Let me come in. Especially this my workbench is included now. If you have a kind of a master host inside that public, how can't we use that one to work on it instead of going to the workbench?
Yes. So there are multiple ways.
You can install Workbench on the version server, right? But that's not
Yes.
just
So
it's
on
just
your
not best
setup
practice.
server,
So
you can
we have a
install.
master
No,
host on the public now, and
you just. So if I don't like work. If there's a GUI that will make life easy for me, I'll choose that option. So I can connect to this setup server now, because it's connected to it has connection to the RDS. I can go in there,
yeah, okay. Yeah,
install a MySQL client, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
run queries that would, but I won't have the GUI. I can't. I like to
Yeah, you
click.
have yeah, like one page.
I like
Okay,
to
okay.
click.
That's the part I want to get very
If
clear.
there's no
That part of
option to click, I'll gladly write queries, and I don't shy away from writing queries. But if the option is there, and then for us following, those that are just learning now, I think the GI would make more sense. So I tried it once, I think it was a general boot camp here, because I thought, I had, professionals in there. So I didn't choose to use Workbench, and I connected to the EC2 instance, installed
okay, okay.
the MySQL client, and it was all like I was doing magic. Like I even, ran an SQL dump, to all of what I'm doing right now. I ran the queries to do all of those, and it, brought more confusion. That we know we have done Linux, but this one that you just did now is we don't know understand where this is taking us to. Yeah, that's why I chose this option instead. So
Okay.
yeah, we can actually do it. And we are actually using, when we set up this connection, we used SSH, more like a Western host now to connect. Else we'll not be able to connect to our database using MySQL Workbench.
Workbench.
So I want to, right now, we're trying to, dump all of our dummy data now into our database. Yeah, so I'm going to target my schema database. They use them interchangeably. So the database is application DB, and I want to dump structure and data, and I'm going to click on start import now. This will take a minute. Right now, like you see, we don't have any tables, but once this is done, we'll see that we have quite a number of tables that would be auto-generated, by those scripts. If you open up, when I send the script to you guys, you can open it up and explore it. Feed your eyes. Yeah, they're just a bunch of creates, and if you understand SQL. So again, like I said, you would be the custodian of quite a number of things. Managing databases is a skill you actually want to learn. So I've been privileged to work with data engineers also. And even when they need to run queries, they still come to Muyo, our ATL tool is behaving funny. I'll be like, now you be the data engineer. Why are you coming to me, telling me about your transformation, not, uh, um, working and right. Yeah. And these all queries, and so the little understanding, for the most part, just understand, the basic selects, updates, maybe not update, because you never even want to update. Let them, so developers will test you, they'll tempt you with so many things, tell you, can you help us edit this thing from the data because you say, you're the man with the keys, please can you help us do this? No, tell them anything that cannot be checked into version control. Let's have proof that yes, things are being, okay, if you want to write a runner now, a script, put it inside. If you want to update anything, if you want to delete anything, put it in a script so it's checked into version control. So if anything breaks, or if data is being lost now, there is proof that yes, when you guys are asked to write incident reports. Yeah, I've written incident reports in my life. God. Yeah, so we can have proof that okay, yes, this person was the one that actually requested for this change, and then they know who the right person to query. Yeah, having the keys does not mean you can do and undo. Yeah, very, very tempting to go into databases and then do all of those things. So our import is complete. If I refresh this now, I'm going to refresh all. It's fetching the tables. I see now that I have an arrow beside my table, and these are all of the tables now that has been auto-generated by that script. And these are things that will make our website to actually tick. Yeah, so I can go ahead and see, I do a table inspector, select rows now. If you want to see, the columns and all of those things, you can see all of those. There's a lot going on. Database management systems are actually I think they're even, no, don't let me say this. I don't want to say they are more robust than your IDs. You can do quite a lot, again, if you are interested in databases, so you can see the columns, the data types and all of the things that you can do in here. And then you want to see our script actually pre-populates with a few dummy users also, quite a number of users. Yeah, so but so you can decide to, if you can write queries, like I said, you can. If you want to write queries, it's always from users, blah blah blah. Yeah, if you run this, it's almost so no database selected. So it's application DB. That's users, and I can run this query. And I'm going to get the same thing that I did with just right clicking and selecting 100 rows. So choose whatever you want to. So the same way you can even limit. We're not learning SQL here. Yeah. So if you don't want to get all of this, you can add a where clause and then where maybe is and then select, put all of those. Yeah. So with time, yeah. When I started, so I said I have an IT background, so computer science. So I actually had an idea of all of these things, but doing it real time, took a while. In fact, I was so fortunate. I had this developer that was so very patient with me. When he comes and said, Muyo, we need to check some things on the database. I say, okay. And then he's saying, okay, we want to go to run a select query and then want to add some inner joins. I'll be like, what magic are you, what are you talking about? Then he will take his time, explain, okay, we want to join these tables and do this from this. And so you'll be fortunate to have developers that would gladly, kind of help you learn some of the things that they do from day to day. Yeah, so so our database is set up now. Let's move on. Like I said, I know this. What next? Database set up. Okay, yes. So back to our instance now. We need to pull in our code base. So I'm going to. I'm using quite a number of tools in here. So tools is you can never run, you will not run out of tools as a DevOps engineer. You use a lot of tools, a lot. So yeah, if I show you my applications folder now, it's the number of tools that I have there. Eh, so I have my setup server instance. So I'm just going to change the IP address in here, and hopefully all of this would run. I know we are not taking any break today, guys. Sorry, I want us to complete this. I hope you guys don't mind that we are not taking break today. Or you guys want to take a break?
10 minutes. No.
Continue, please. Go ahead.
I hear Master Hartford wants to break. We will complete it, so I think we can't take a 10-minute break. But nobody else is saying anything. Taiwo, Dan, Blessing, you only responded at the beginning. Now it's like we have lost you more. Have we added more confusion to your cloud formation? Voila.
I almost fell asleep at some point. So if anyone is asleep, I'm not gonna be surprised.
God, I beg. All right, so let's
be surprised.
Let's take 10 minutes, please. Yes, W3 school. Yeah, they have a very robust curriculum there. So we'll take 10 minutes and then we'll be back in 9:10. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, are you guys back with me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Henry, I hope
We're back like we never left.
I hope you took a walk so that all that sleep can clear from your eyes. So.
Don't worry about it. I mean, I'm used to this life, so it's okay. It's good.
Cool. So
to populate the database, did you you imported something into the S3 bucket,
yes,
right? I mean, how did you get that into?
Okay, the script, an SQL script. So right now, just going to run a few commands on the instance.
You're not switching user this time around.
I didn't get that.
I said not switching user this time around.
Okay. You have corrected me, so I'm just sticking with using sudo.
It's okay.
So I'm just going to run nothing to update. I'm going to install httpd apache. And then install PHP. And also SQL 5.7. So this is
sorry, Moyo. So in a normal office work now, this could be given to you. I will generate it ourselves.
You that will find is you that knows you are the one that knows what you want to do.
Okay.
So you know all of the dependents. Like I said, you will be. So you'll be working with the developers, especially when you need to depending again on the framework that is being used. There are some PHP now, you're not building anything.
Yes.
So if you were, say, a Node.js application now, depending on what scripts they have added to their package or JSON that'll be used to build the application and then to start it. You work with them, they will tell you, okay, yes, this is what you use in building. So in place of installing all of Apache, all of this, they'll give you the right scripts that you need to run. So this is that point where we pull from the S3 bucket. we'll be running this, hopefully. So this has downloaded. So our read only actually works. So I'm going to change directory and then unzip all of those files in here. So we have quite a number of files. If you've ever worked with the Laravel application, you know, it's kind of similar to, so I'm just going to create, okay, I'll just quickly run through all of these things. So I'll be sharing these files also with you guys. This is removing all of that. And then writing some access. Also setting some permissions that I don't understand. And then my environment variable. So this environment.env file is yeah, I think most applications. So for our WordPress one, we had the what was that? The PHP config or so. Yeah, so most applications, they always use this .env, yeah, environment variables to hold sensitive informations, yeah, and you will, as they probably will be handling um, this file. Usually you don't check this into source control, into version control rather. Even if you want to, you need to encrypt it. AWS have tools, services now that you can actually use to house, I think, secret managers now. This again would, well, the developers would need to have logic in the application that will be pulling from secret manager. But you can, there are um, ways to both encrypt and then you decrypt on your instance. You can also, depending on what CI/CD tool you are using, you can pull from, you know, different version control systems. Yeah, yeah. So and that's because it's housing so many again sensitive information, your database connection, both your username and your password, Redis connections, and you know if you have SMTP configured, and a few environment variables that the application actually uses. Yeah, like I said, this is a Laravel application. So I will be adding a database connection to make that connection to the database, and also our Redis hosts and Redis port and all of those things that we have configured. So we'll be getting all of those things. RDS now. Let's pull this in. I think we actually did this. Database name, I know it's called application DB. My username is also usually you always want to create a separate user for your application, but you don't want to use the root user. And then that user now you grant limited permission. This root user now can do and undo, can delete schemas and all of those things. So again, you'll be working with the developers. They'll tell you the right amount of permission you need to create. So this is why you need to be comfortable writing SQL queries. Yeah. So your workbench, you can actually create users from there, but when it comes to granting permissions, you probably want to do that from using queries actually. Yeah. So depending on the application, you want to name that user. According to the application, and then because you can have multiple databases sitting inside of one RDS instance. Yeah, that again is something that can be explored. Password 1 2 and then our Redis should have an endpoint already for this. Is available. So why is this Redis not using a 6379 is the port that it's using? This would not work because I actually have two shards running. Interesting. I created. Hey, Moban is going to pay money this month. So my Redis host, I'm going to move local host, local 126.3.7.9. That's the port Redis runs on. This is going to throw an error because I know the security group that I added to this is the database security group. Let me open this up, and I don't think I have port 6379 opened in this security group.
You
so
put
I'm
that
going
to correct.
do that. I'm going to
Redefine that and add it.
No. So this is actually allowing all interesting. I thought I added the security database security group to this thing. So apparently this has its own security group that allows all. So I think we're safe. I chose this database security group though. It's not in there. So this is fine then. Since this security group actually has all. So okay, but the source is just from the same this from itself. So I need to add a no, not from here. I should let's give a minute. Let's look at security group. Okay. Oh, there's no. I did not want you with my database security group. Yeah. So on my database security group now, can now add an inbound rule. So this would be a custom TCP. That was 6.3. Can't remember that. 6.3.7.9. 6.3.7.9. This would be coming from the web server security group now. Web server security group, yeah, which is other one also. So I don't have a password, so this looks good. I can write and save. And I need to start my HTTPD web server. All right, so no error. And if I come back here and get my EC2 IP address and paste this in here, all things being equal. All right, so I have my application up and running. Yeah, so again, this is a dynamic website. You can log in, you can register. I can register my, sorry. Password. And go to my profile and can rent a vehicle and do all of those things that I want to do with the application. Yeah, so this is up and running. That's good. I can come and check my database now and see that that user I just created should be here.
Sorry. I'll go back again.
Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
No, go to the website again. Click on it again. Website.
This is it.
It's not coming up every time. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, good. Okay, it's up now. So we can see that it's not secured. Yes.
Yes, right. Yes. So
that's what supposed to.
So all of those things that we did to secure. So right now we have, we have our setup server now. Now we now want to create our what's this now? Our original web server now. Yeah. So we'll do all of those for the next minute now. Going to again all of the things I want to do now. Things okay? No, maybe not everything though. I just wanted to show that this should have the database that's user in here now. Yes, so that user was created today, updated today. So again, database suite. I'm going to close out of this because I don't think I need that database again. And next is okay, yes. Next, where's our instance? So right now, so you asked the question earlier, I must add for that. Does this mean that our this thing now, the S3 is like our elastic file system? Yes, it was momentarily, but now that we've configured our setup server, now we want to, I mentioned earlier, now we don't have the file system that we can mount, these things to. Yeah, so what we can do with this now is, we have all of our configuration inside of this setup server. So how do we now take all of this configuration and then, create multiple instances out of that? We don't want to do all that we just did over and over
again. Elastic ASG.
Yes, but that ASG now, we would probably still need to pass something to it that would contain all of this. So that's what we want to do now.
Populate it as well.
In the case of the elastic file system, we created that script, that would mount automatically. But for this, we'll be taking a different route. Yes, we would be creating an image. So we'll come to actions. We can create an AMI now. We can create our own AMI, which would make more sense. And then we'll be using that AMI. We use to create, more EC2 instance. Our website already configured on it. So I'll come here and then template.
Okay, template now. Okay.
Yes, and I'll create image. I'm just going to call this version 1 because we'll need to still probably have a version 2 of it. That way, you need to reboot instance, not necessary. So this is fine. Tag image and snapshots together. Yep. It's going to go ahead and create. Right, so if I come to AMIs now, so this is pending. This will take a minute. It's not a very large instance, so it shouldn't take too much time. because we'll be using this now to launch the instances that we have in here, that we want to have in here. But I'm just going to launch one for now because I know once we configure SSL on that, it will break. Developers always forget to add. Why are you taking forever? But I hope the rest of us understands what we just did using creating an AMI out of you know, that image, that's instance now. Why are you pending since?
I don't.
You don't?
Yes.
So you know, we launched our instance now, and that instance, we ran all of these commands now, and then we pulled our you know, all of our okay, let me come back to. So if we go to cd www so all of our application, all of this we pulled from S3. This is what is making our website, this web application, tick all of this source code now. And we have that configured on this instance, on this particular instance that we have running. Yeah, but our instance now is running in the public subnet. Everybody has access to it. Yeah, so we don't want that. We want to now create our web servers now in the private subnet. But we can't SSH into, once we create our instances in here, we don't even want to do that. We don't want to SSH into it and then start running all of these commands. Imagine we want to create multiple instances. Are we going to be doing it, you know, one for each of those instances? That will take forever. Imagine we have to now create 100, 200 instances. Yeah, so what we can't do is, since we already have that setup server provisioned already that houses all of our application code already, yeah, we can use this as a blueprint now. We'll create the AMI, and we talked about AMI being like a collection of both your operating system. Just like when you want to launch an instance now, you choose an AMI that already has, you know, that has an, maybe say an Ubuntu or a Linux operating system and a few other application servers. So we'll create an AMI of this, which would be like it will contain everything that we've configured, you know, we've configured now would be inside of the AMI that we generated from this, just generated. So when we need to launch a new instance now, so I can just come here and then launch instance from the AMI, but it's still pending. Just the same way you actually do it from here. We go to our EC instance now, and then you launch an instance. So we should try to launch an instance. I'm just going to call it app server now. And then if I come to my AMIs owned by me, I see that I have that's AMI now. Instead of me choosing a Linux or an Ubuntu AMI, I have that's AMI. So it's going to be just going to use this, and then every other thing now we can start using. And then when we launch it, it would automatically have our web application running in there. Yeah, so that's the goal. Right, so I'm just going to choose this and put this in my mobile private app subnet. Just going to choose the web server security group. That's fine. Every other thing would pick from. Still don't understand why. So you're available now, or else I would not have been able to launch that instance. So now,
Sorry, Moyo. Why don't we create a template with it directly? Maybe launch template with it directly for auto scaling instead of doing
one step
each
at a time.
instances.
Makes
Better
sense.
that way. So you don't go there straight away. It's okay.
Makes sense actually. But I know that things will still break by the time we let's create our load balancer first. I think
Okay.
so let's do the target group and then make sure that when you are creating your launch template, you still need to specify a load balancer, and so it's always good to have your load balancer already set up, and the target group. So I'm just going to create a target group instances. I'm going to call it mobile TG. Put this in. This into just use the app server in our private subnet. Code as pending. And then I'm going to create the load balancer also. And make this really fast because we've done this already before. It's going to be an application load balancer. Mobile ALB. It's fine, internet facing. Make sure to put this in the right VPC. And yep, in both subnets, it's going to be public subnet AZ1. And this also will be in public subnet AZ1. Okay, selected already. Security group. Want LB security group. Fine. Target group is here. And create.
How many more projects do we have that's gonna build on this? Because I want to know.
Just this is the okay. So yeah.
I mean, and the reason I ask is because like with this one right now,
Yes.
you cannot possibly watch this video and understand everything if you don't watch the initial WordPress one,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, because I'm
Yes.
just moving. I'm not explaining.
Yeah. So we have to go back and watch the WordPress one. I mean, I've watched that one, but I didn't do the demo. I didn't do the project. And coming here now and seeing that a lot of the things that you're doing here are just
It's the repetition. Actually, you know that.
it's a like building on. Like right now, you're creating a new ALB. So there's already an ALB that was created in that
No,
class,
no,
but
no,
you're
no, no,
creating
no, no, no. This is a fresh load balancer now.
okay. But what I'm basically saying is, as far as understanding of the project, like the security groups that I mentioned earlier, right? Those subnets that we have
Yes.
there are subnets that you already created before.
Created,
So you
yes.
have to go back and really watch that video and really do the thing. Even if you watch it before and you didn't do it, you have to do that one first
Yes,
so that you can
because
continue
you're
with this
okay.
one.
Yes, we started that from scratch, and this is just building on that.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
I
So that
have
was
to
what I
go
was.
to that one again first too.
Yes, I have
I
to
have
go
to
back
build
to
that
that
one
one
again.
too.
I'll build that one
Yes.
again first before putting this one here.
Yes, I do.
It's just it's all going to be adding to your bag now. Like, okay, yes.
Yes.
And again, when you do so, I've learned that all of these projects here, when you do them, for the first time, you might run into a few issues, or it will take you more time, and then that's the reason why I actually chose the same kind of underlying infrastructure. Yeah, so when you do it again, it gets easier. Trust me. Yeah, and you understand some of these concepts. These services. Okay, yes, even better because it's still you're using the same knowledge from before.
Yeah.
applying it here also.
Yeah.
You are
I
actually
get.
correct.
I believe I get. Yeah, I get the rationale behind that. I really understand. But what all I'm just trying to say is, as far as the sequence of these projects,
Yes.
like have we gotten to the point where the next project we're going to be kind of like be demoing is going to be building on these same things, this same
Yeah,
infrastructure?
so,
Because this infrastructure that we have right now is something that started from a previous class.
yes, true.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when we talk about Elastic Beanstalk now, so all of this now we created manually. So naturally, or for organizations to organization, your VPC, your subnets, they are kind of fixed. You won't be creating VPC subnets every time. You just be adding different services into your infrastructure already. Like I said, we just put in how many one EC2 instance. You can have up to 256. Yeah. So when we talk about Elastic Beanstalk now, it would still be building on this, but now you'll be automating the creation of all of this. Right now, but when we get there, when we get to that bridge, let's go off track for now. Well, again, all of these things are connected together, and then repetition is for emphasis. So you know how important kind of all of these things are. And then when you find yourself having to you deploy multiple applications of the same old, find yourself doing repetitive work. And so all of these things that we are doing manually now will still be automating it. Those are the things we'll be doing when we get to IAC. We'll get to understand Terraform, and then we'll use it to try to replicate building all of these things. You see that in one of the sessions, once you have your all of your configuration written out, you can create and terminate at will. These are still steps you have to go from RDS to Elastic Cache to auto scaling group and all of those plenty things. With IAC is a one-time thing. Just Terraform, destroy Terraform, apply, and then create all of those things. Okay, so yeah, our load balancer is up and running. Hopefully this would point to our application. Yep. So we are still good. I can try to log in with my username and password just to see that we are still connected to the same database. But it's still not secure. Yeah. So so I'm just going to quickly create an hosted zone on Route 53. I'm coming to Route 53 so that we can have our SSL certificates. I have two step zone here. Let's move this up and down. I'm going to create a record. And then a record. I'm just going to www. Do an alias for an application, a classic load balancer on my region is Ohio, and I have a load balancer here. So I will create this record real fast. So I can go back to my load balancer now and then add a listener for HTTPS. HTTPS forward get group, and then my certificate. I have a certificate already. That's true. Which it's going to add this, and then I come to my going to edit this rule to forward, redirect rather to 443 and shoot. All right, so let's close out on this to www.mobiletech.com. Yep. So our site is secure now, but again, just the same issue we faced with the WordPress one. Everything is scattered, and that's because our developers forgot to edit a few things. So it's a good thing we still have our instance setup server running. So I'm going to I have to use this as a bastion host. So I'm going to quickly set up my AI bastion. Where is my pen file? Should have that somewhere in here. I think I can open this up now. Keychain. Where is that? My so I can copy you. Come back here. chmod 400. Bam. So I can do my SSH -i. C2 user. I'm going to get the
IP address.
Private IP address of my setup server. And yes, I'm connected to this, so I want to locate there's a file, my env file. I need to go to the env file, HTML, vi.env. So my app env is not local again. Now say we are going to production and URL. App URL is, let's get that our SSL URL and be sure to remove that backslash and all of this looks good. I'm writing and there is another file that I need to update to make that configuration work. That would be an app providers, yeah. Should have a few. Okay, so we have the app service. That's PHP. So I have my developers have sent the code that I need to add to make an if statement. I need to add inside of this function, that boot function. So inside of the boot function, I'm going to add just a line of code in there. Oops. So if app env is production, yes, you can use HTTPS. That's basically what this is saying. And I'm going to save this and restarting my sudo service httpd restart. Don't break. All right, so let's come back to our instance and need to refresh. What's going on?
You're still getting the cache version of it.
Yes.
You have to clear the cache.
Yes. Guide not to. I started redirecting, so let me just confirm that I continue the option. Can somebody please help me try WW Mobile Tech and see if you guys, because I know I've had this issue. The thing would not work on my end. Please don't do this to me.
Yeah, I'm getting the same. I'm getting the same thing. I'm getting the
It's-
cached version of it.
So it's not cached there. So there's something.
Yeah.
Production. Mhm. Let me go back to my. It looks good. Yeah. Mobiletech.com production. Sure. Was it a capital of P? No, it's not capital P. What could be the issue here? To the services, the restarts. What's going on here now? No.
My to clear screen.
I didn't know Mobile Tech was into renting cars too. That's good. You guys have diversified.
Is
You mean to clear your screen? Okay, good.
okay, sorry. God, everything looks good now. Don't know I use the to actually on this. Why is this not working? Can I try different? Didn't I copy? This is fine now. Troubleshooting. Yeah. That is the only thing that can cause water. What am I doing wrong? Wait. When I edited this, I have to. I use sudo now. Oh, I'm suspecting that. What exactly is the problem? Here you go. Lock script. Where is this error coming from? What did I do wrong? Connected. So I run this. Should have thrown an error here that I can't edit. Should have thrown that error that I can't edit this file without sudo. It should work ordinarily, but I don't know why it's not working. I cannot leave all of this infrastructure running. Service. It's not us. It's not routes. I'm stuck, guys. Who would help me? It's
Are you asking for help from sleeping
Yes.
sleeping?
wait, I'm seeing something strange here.
Here you are, wait now.
Yeah, I'm awake. I'm just watching. I'm just looking, ready for 1 minute so I can
Can you
so I
see
can
me?
carry so
So
I can carry.
can you see what I was editing the setup server instead of the app server. Yo. That's so strange. Oh my, damn man. Then. So I'm sure all of that configuration that we did won't be in here now.
So it's the app server that is serving content and not the
setup server.
not the
No,
setup server. So the setup server was just a server that you can
Just
SSH
to
into
get our AMI.
to create the AMI. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know, and set up a template. Set up the other one.
What are you doing?
Okay, when you tell the radio this AWS?
What do I do?
This year or when?
That's a very good question. I don't think it's going to be this year.
Okay.
Because after this training, I'm still going to go through all the videos again from day one, and then try to get my hands on dumps and see how good I can be. Yeah, but I really want to.
I'm looking at November, December this year.
November, December, right? Yeah, that's not
solutions architect, or which of them are you planning to write?
Yeah,
solutions architect. Architect.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, you already have the practitioner now. It wouldn't make sense to do practitioner again.
No way.
Yeah, my
Okay.
practitioner
I didn't know
expired a
he
long
had the
time ago.
practitioner.
Oh yeah, Hartford has it. I have a practitioner too.
Okay.
But mine is expired. I mean, I got my practitioner in 2018.
So,
mine
was 2022.
Yeah, so you are more recent, and your knowledge of it will be definitely more relevant than what I have. So
I'm sorry about this, guys. I'll be holding your
restart. Have to restart again.
The demo gods got me. They got me. They got me. So I see everything is loading now.
yeah, it's good now. It's good now. I can see it on my end too.
Oh,
Finally.
Congratulations.
I'm just running in circles. I don't even know how did I choose setup server instead of app server. So right now I'm just going to create another image of this because now we have updated a few things. That's why I didn't create both instances because I knew things were going to break. So I'm going to create another image, and then
Oh, okay. So the new image is going to have all the changes, so you don't have to do them
yes,
again.
yeah,
Oh,
all of those.
perfect. Yeah, that makes
So this is
sense.
going to be a version 2 of that, and then I
Mhm.
can now use this to create
Create the new ones.
the what's that thing Master Atford said we should create
Template now,
a
auto scaling.
scaling group at launch template and what have you. Yeah, so I can come and create my launch template now. Do I
So
have
you
to
delete
go through this again?
you delete
Or
it's server. It's not of server now. That one, right?
so
I delete
yes,
that one.
I can actually these two I don't actually need them again. I can terminate both of them because
Mhm.
it will
Mhm.
cost me one last. Where are the two of them? But I have to be sure that my AMI is,
Wait first. Yes,
is
yeah,
complete
totally first.
before I actually do.
Yeah, before you go delete something, you could say
I have to start all over again. But I know
yeah.
this first one is actually not usable
But
again.
what was the usefulness for launch template, the template itself?
So it's the launch template that the auto scaling group is going to use in creating new it's going to be based on that blueprint. Now the launch template is like the blueprint. So when the auto scaling group needs to create multiple instances, so it will use that as the blueprint and then creates that.
Duplicate.
I wanted to do something. Yeah, let's deregister this AMI because I think AWS actually charge you for AMIs here. Well, private AMIs. Do I have to set up our auto scaling group? Abi, you guys can actually do that. So let's take it end to end.
Let's finish it up.
All right. So why are you not ready? Launch templates. I'm just going to call this. I can't think of any other name right now. I'm kind of stalling so that's AMI is done. Let's give me guidance, please. My AMI. Friend zone version 2 is here. Yep. Yay. Instance type.
That's the only one you have at the moment, also.
Yes. So yes, I already
So the version 2 is the one after identifying that
yes, yeah. So that's the
identifying that
most current one.
HTTP something. Okay, that's version 2.
I don't think I need to keep subnets. I don't need an overview. I'm just going to choose an existing security group. Web server security group. So I need in here. Yep, let's launch this. So truly, I don't need it out of view again. Let's terminate GL.
What if after you terminate, you found that that one didn't create?
Henry, I beg now.
You should have waited for you to see, at least let it show up first before you
No,
delete.
I have the
Ah,
I'm very good. I'm sure my AMI is there because I've created a long template for it. So yeah, with
yeah,
this,
it's there.
yeah, there's nothing to fear. All right, so I expect a 504 bar gateway. Yes.
Mhm.
So I can auto scaling group is what we want to create. And going to create an auto scaling group.
If someone is used to this AWS, it look very interesting. No?
It is interesting, especially when you hit roadblock. You think you are doing the right thing, but you're the one pouring water inside baskets. Like I was doing, I was running in circles just inside of the same server. Imagine trying to connecting from inside myself, inside my. I was not fun at all. Thank God I was able to recover that. Yeah. So this is fine. Make sure I put this in my VPC, and then subnets do I want? I want my private app subnet AZ1 and my private app subnet AZ2 to instances. I have an existing load balancer. It's an application load balancer. There's a target group there. Don't bother all of you now because we are pressed for time. Capacity just do 2. I'm going to leave every other thing as so we can quickly. Do I need notification? No, I don't want notification. Just add ASG web server. It's supposed to be the name. Don't like rushing. I'll just be doing rubbish. Let's create the auto scaling group. I think that's about it. Let's come back to our instances now. Should have 2 instances being created. Things being equal. What? Don't understand that error, but
tell you say make you wait to.
what error? I didn't want to read it like whoa. You better work. you better behave yourself. But my AMI is there, so IS I'll just
create it again.
Yes.
Why the very same name? Can the auto name say 1 and 2?
You can actually do that, but they are from the same what they call that thing now, template. So they are doing the same thing.
Yes.
Just that.
Add the condition to it of the naming is 1 and 2, 3, maybe.
All right, so we are up and running, and we are safe. To round up this, again, deleting is just going to be the reverse of how we did it. Yeah. I'll just implore you guys to leave the AMI because again, we'll be using it. We'll automate all of this, but we will be using this AMI and also the database. I'm going to delete the database, but I will be creating a snapshot and saving that. So once you delete your database, once you try to delete, it's going to ask you to create a final snapshot. So you can go ahead and create that final snapshot. There's nothing to, I don't have any automated backup that I want. So create a final snapshot of that and then accept to delete me. So that would create a snapshot of that database for you. Why do I have it there? DB snapshot here. Need you. Yeah, so those 2 things will be needing them in Terraform module.
The snapshot is not cost, have you not cost it?
No. Charge you for that, and before they start charging you, we would have deleted everything. All right, guys. I hope you guys are able to work. I know that's my mistakes. You guys should not repeat it. Don't try to tunnel into the same instance using the the private IP address. Hope you guys are able to actually replicate this. It would be actually nice. So tomorrow's session is going to be like a round off. Just I know between today and tomorrow for you guys to have questions around all the things that we have done. Usually, maybe we can even have a day off so that you guys can maybe practice and then come back with questions. But since we are still in the same, I'll still be the one taking the IAC. So any questions you still have for your practices, I'm still very, very available to answer them. Yeah, so we'll be building on, again, all of these things tomorrow, looking at more user-friendly or developer-centric services now. All right. I've taken up 15 minutes extra of your time. Thank you all.
So when we get to IAC, are we going to be building on this as far as the all goes, or
so
because
we need
I
to
want
understand
to know,
we need to understand the IAC concept. So that's what we'll be doing more. And
okay.
like I said, we would try to replicate, all of this,
Okay.
that we
Okay.
just did, but
It'll
again,
be
it's
faster,
not,
right?
we're not
It'll be
building.
faster.
Well,
So I'm
so
just
while
trying to make
while
sure
we
that
are
in
learning,
preparation for that, I'm just trying to make sure that in preparation for that, I do that
go and cover all of this first, because the
WordPress, yeah,
understanding of
WordPress
all
and
of
this one,
this,
yeah.
yes, the understanding. So,
Okay.
like I said, it's always good to learn to drive using stick, and then when you now
Yeah.
go learning automatic, it
And
makes
and
more
I get.
sense. Yeah, because all of the properties that will be using inside of our IAC configuration, if you've not actually used them, on the console, it's going to be very, very abstract when we start writing code and say, okay, yes, this would,
We
provision
create
this,
this,
and
create
then
this for you.
it's going to
Yes.
be very, very abstract.
Coach Mayon. I actually struggle with the console most times. So, and I noticed that I keep struggling. So I had to chat up Mr. Hartford. So we've been learning. We've been
Okay.
learning those projects one by one. So I think the IAAC will surely help out because that'll be the automation. So you'll be able to do both sides. So it will
Yes.
explain way better.
Yeah. So yeah, they work hand in hand. It would solidify your knowledge of the, things you already have seen, both, on the console. Yeah. Mm. All right, guys. I don't want to take more than 15 minutes of your time. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good night for those that are already rounding off. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
So a new link will be shared. A new link will be shared with those that are deserving. Let me. So that's beyond my. I've tried pleading with Lady Anne. So for those that have not completed their payment, please do so you can get the link. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.